Now is Patricia Onwuka, Independent Women's Forum Senior Policy Analyst, and Jessica Ehrlich, Attorney and Democratic Strategist. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Patrice, pardon me, let me start with you. What's your impression?
Wow, this was powerful. Hearing from Judge Kavanaugh himself, I mean, at times he was so emotional and broken because of the severity of the impact of these allegations, but he was also very forceful. And I think what was interesting was that last exchange with Senator Dianne Feinstein, when he talked about the reason why an FBI investigation in this case, would not have uncovered come to the conclusion that they're expecting, number one, and number two, that he has been ready to testify for the longest time, and it's been her office, Democrats, and even the accusers' lawyers who have played a gotcha game of pushing back the timeline. So it was very powerful. It was also powerful to hear from Dr. Ford as well.
Yeah. Jessica, what was your impression hearing from each of them? I mean, because this has really come down to a question of impressions. I mean, it's not an investigation at this point. They're just hearing from two sides of what they have to say. Who do you think, did they both seem credible? What was your impression?
Certainly, I think they're both credible in their beliefs and convictions, and it makes it, very difficult. This isn't a trial. This is not a criminal hearing, even though there's prosecutor Ms. Mitchell who's giving the questions. So it really is a sort of it is circus-like in many ways, and It's very unfortunate. I think one of the upsetting things is we've seen both someone who obviously Dr. Blasey Ford has never been, nor did she contemplate being in a hearing setting in the Senate doing these questions. As she stated in her opening statement, she was just trying to sort of give her experience early on as an anonymous person so the FBI could investigate. And then now everything that's transpired, the hearings that are going on, I don't think this is changing necessarily anyone's minds. The unfortunate thing is that, we're now seeing even more partisanship coming into even and out of the Supreme Court nominations speech. And I think that's very unfortunate because Supreme Court nominees were supposed to be dealing with a nonpartisan lifetime post here, and it's now devolved into a situation 40 days out from the midterms where we're seeing, really, I think for the nation, Washington and politics at its worst.
Yeah.
Well, Patrice, talking about the midterms, I'm wondering if you think that Democrats, clearly they have a political goal, which was to delay the process, the confirmation process, to beyond the election, when they were hoping perhaps to pick up the Senate where they could block any nominee for the next 2 years. Do you think they've succeeded in doing that today?
I don't think so. I mean, while Dr. Ford, her testimony was, very heartfelt, there are a lot of inconsistencies in her testimony, not just the ones we knew about where she couldn't figure out the time, the place, and the location, but one of the people that she brought forward as people who should be corroborating her testimony could not. They actually said that they weren't there, this did not happen. So, those holes in her testimony make it seem like, yes, where our hearts go out for her for something that might have happened to her, but did this really happen? And I think, when senators are going to be looking at this situation and the testimony here, they're going to say, it's still, Judge Kavanaugh is an incredible pick for the Supreme Court, and this should not hold up that nomination.
Real quick, Jessica, do you want to respond to those, the inconsistencies that people have pointed out in her testimony?
Yeah, I think it goes back to, Melissa, your initial point that this is not a criminal trial or a hearing, and neither one of these people really should be there to try to, change people's mind in that point and say it, because it's just going to be a he said, she said. That's all we're hearing today. And unfortunately, though, what I think has come out more, and I would like to see more, I understand that Judge Kavanaugh has been put in a situation that has been horrible for himself and for his family. But I would like to see more reserve from him and control in his remarks and the address that he's making that would be more in line with someone that I think would be the stoicness of a Supreme Court judge.
Well, he did that before. People said he was a robot. I mean, now his life's been ruined and his
I think that's...
We got to go. I'm so sorry. We have a break right here. Thanks to both of you. Appreciate it.